Howdy folks, Eric here, back with another standard brew, and back from vacation, here with a fun one, jumping right into it with 200 card Toolbox, green-white Toolbox, a classic. This is my 200 subscriber special. Thank you so much for choosing to subscribe to this channel. It means a lot to me. I've been getting a lot of nice comments lately. Unfortunately, I'm a little sick today, or at least coming down from a little sick, so my voice might sound a little bit different. But I appreciate you watching. Jumping into 200 card green-white Toolbox. Not going to show off the deck list this time around. I will link it in the description if you'd like to take a look at it. But to sort of keep everything a bit of a surprise, just know, for the most part, it is a green-white creature deck with a lot of landfall payoff. And basically 4 of cards that tutor for other things like Starfield Shepherd, Brightglass Gearhulk, Formidable Speaker, so on and so forth, and 1/ofs of most everything else. I think this might be the last time I'm able to do this on MTGA, by the way. I think there's a 250 card limit. So if people like these videos and you want to see me do one for every benchmark, I'll probably have to jump over to MTGO. But let's say if this video gets like 20 likes or something, I'll keep the train rolling. 300 subscriber special. Play like what's the 5-mana enchantment win con? Y'all know what I'm talking about. All right, looks like we're against the landfall list. Probably makes sense to just go for a fungus on this Earthbender Ascension, get it out of my life. I also could just go for Formidable Speaker. Yeah, maybe that makes a little more sense here. Just discard this Dissection Tool. It's not something we necessarily need in this matchup. Go ahead and take a look at the deck list here. Well, we don't have a fetch for our Ice-Till Explorers. Could grab... We don't have double white quite yet. We can access double white with the Starfield Shepherd if we need to. We could just get another Badgermole Cub, which starts to kind of go crazy with the Starfield Shepherd. Against this list... Oh, Lord. It doesn't like when I look at the deck. In fact, it hates it. Maybe I just grab a Mightform Harmonizer and start to scare them a little. Oh. Or I grab nothing. MTGA did not like me looking at 200 cards at once. Well, that's a bit of an unfortunate result. Hopefully my opponent doesn't do a whole lot here. Badgermole Cub. Big mana online for our opponent. Green Shell. All right, starting to pop off a little bit. Yeah, unfortunate miss on the Formidable Speaker. I guess we do have double white here off of the Formidable Speaker. Something to think about. Might as well just go for a Starfield Shepherd. Tap this for white. Untap this guy. Play a Shepherd. Maybe it makes a little more sense to just warp it this time. Nah, I think I'd rather just get it on the field. Oh, Lord. Okay. Figure of Fable makes sense with the amount of mana that we have access to, along with this Goldvein Hydra. Let's go for the Figure of Fable. I don't know that it's likely that we're winning this game necessarily at this point. Maybe we could have if we actually got a target off of the Formidable Speaker, like the Mightform Harmonizer like I was planning on grabbing. We could like level up the Figure of Fable all the way and eventually swing through with an unblockable 14 power creature or larger. So back from vacation, went to visit a friend in North Carolina, played a lot of disc golf, big disc golf trip, played approximately twice a day. Any disc golfer subscribers out there, let me know. We can chat about that if you'd like. Looking forward to the season starting up. It's been a very frigid winter here in Michigan. Not a lot of opportunities to play with how much snow has been on the ground, so it was nice to get away from all that and go huck some plastic around. Got to play with a professional. Shout out. Fun times. Looks like we're dying here. Probably not much we could have done here. I imagined this in my head as probably my worst matchup. Their ability to just like ranch fair decks is so incredibly high. I'll just go ahead and scoop this one up. Keep it moving. Let's go ahead and sideboard. We have a lot of board wipes in the sideboard. I think I'll just plan to bring all of them in. It's kind of our only recourse, I think, against other creature decks, even though this list is not, like the green mono green landfall list is not particularly susceptible to board wipes. It is kind of the only way we have to deal with this list. Take out the authority here. Maybe we want it. All of this looks kind of okay. You get a chance to look at the deck list here. I thought about just like hiding it and jumping into the second game, but why don't you take a look-see here? Let's go down on the phenomena recorders, I think, here. It's not really a value game so much as it is answer their threats as best as we can. Probably don't need a demi. Shelter by Ghost seems okay. Yaren Oski's pretty poor. Loot could be okay. Surek, kind of poor here. They may bring in Meltstrider's Resolves, but not enough of a reason to keep our guy in. Everything else looks kind of alright. I thought about playing a full 4 Might Form Harmonizer, but it felt a little dishonest. So I instead am on full 4 Nature's Rhythm, in keeping with the Toolbox theme. Probably just go down the Starfield Shepherds. A little slow in this matchup. Alright, game 2. On the play. Well, there's a board wipe. Pretty good reason to keep this, I think. We can ramp into it on turn 3 with this Insidious Fungus if we hit another white source. We have a Caradora, Heart of Alacria, as well as a Tolsmere, Midnight's Light. I don't think I've ever cast this card, but it seems okay. 5 mana for quite a lot of stats. Evolving Wilds. There's no way we can do this particularly quickly. I think I'm going to go Demolition Field. Still plan to sack the Fungus next turn, or during their turn. Maybe I draw another white source, but at the very worst, I can just put either of these lands into play. I'm still ramping. Just doesn't, like, get me to Day of Judgment any faster if I don't draw another white source. Bedromal Cub. Chocobo. Well, this would be a pretty good turn to wipe the board, to be honest, and they probably won't expect it. Going for the Meltstrider's Resolve, that seems like a huge waste, unless they have like a Sapling Nursery in hand that they don't want this fungus to hit. Split up, kind of huge. Let's go for the Multiversal Passage on white. Put the energy out in the universe. Well, it'll have to wait a turn, but still, it seems like it'll be pretty good. We could just get Lost the Badgermole Cup here, keep them from untapping with infinite mana. But it might make sense to save the Get Lost for a Sapling Nursery. And then just wipe the board next turn. Torpor Orb. Well, I mean, that is pretty good against my deck. Basically, every creature in my deck has an ETB. Not much to be done there. Might Form Harmonizer. Okay. This is warped. Well, I don't think they're killing me with this Escape Tunnel. And I do have a Get Lost, if I need it. It probably makes sense to just Get Lost the Harmonizer when they go to fetch with the Escape Tunnel here. Keep them from being able to replay it, and then I just get to wipe the board next turn. Gives them maps, but they're going to be left with one card in hand. And I might even be able to get away with using this split up rather than the Day of Judgment. I would assume that they're going to swing with both creatures here. All right, well. No complaints here. Oh, Lord. I mean, anytime I tutor, it's just... I'm not sure that MTGO would be any better, but I am frightened to know what a 300 card deck would be like. Go ahead and cast this split up. Wipe their board. Pretty effective here. Still, Torpor Orb kind of shutting me down a little bit. We have answers. 4 Seam Rips in the deck. It's just a matter of drawing any of those particular answers. And they have their Sapling Nursery, which I can't really compete with for too long. Enters. One or more counters will be put on a creature or vehicle. +1. I mean, that's not irrelevant. I suppose I just lead on a Saz's Chocobo here, and then plan to go like... Maybe it just makes sense to Caradora. It's a 4-2. Put something on the board. It can kind of swing. Opens up Bushwhack as an option if they draw like any kind of decent creature. Like a Mightform Harmonizer. Fabled Passage is pretty good. Yeah. It's hard to imagine us winning this one. Oh, and they draw another Fabled Passage. It's hard to imagine us winning this one outside of... I guess what I should have done probably is just held the Get Lost forever. Because I with the double board wipe in hand, I could eventually answer another Mightform Harmonizer. But Sapling Nursery is the card I need to save the Get Lost for. And Torpor Orb makes this a lot more difficult. I have like ways to tutor up answers to the Sapling Nursery, but most of them involve like chains of enter the battlefield effects resolving, so let's just play this Saz's Chocobo, I guess. It'll start to get larger with this Caradora, combined with hitting our land drops here. Doesn't seem to be a good reason to swing in or anything like that quite yet. It's hard to imagine a scenario where we win this, I suppose. I have to draw another Get Lost and then wipe the board. I guess that's kind of the only out. Or just present something big enough to manage their tree folks a little better. Yeah, I guess I block. It slows their aggression down a little bit. It's not great. Really not an ideal matchup, and unfortunately for us, it is all over the ladder. Go for a Shared Roots. At the very least, we can present a big-ish Saz's Chocobo. I could have just gone for a board wipe, maybe, and forced them to give up the Sapling Nursery. Actually, they'd probably just let it happen and then continue the onslaught. Yeah, search for a basic here, I suppose. Just get this Saz's Chocobo big enough to block and kill. And grab another white source. We're chugging along, dude. We're chugging along. I depending on my next draw, I think I'm just gonna scoop it up here. I can't imagine a scenario where I pull this one out. And for the sake of the fun of the video, obviously this is not a particularly serious standard showcase or brew showcase, so keep it light, keep it moving. See what they draw here, see what we draw here. Yeah, they can afford to just kind of send off the troops. Go down to 6. Well, there's our Mightform Harmonizer. So I wipe the board. They save their tree folk at this point. I don't have any targets for the demolition field. Torpor Orb kind of shuts down my whole thing. I mean, I guess if I just play a Mightform Harmonizer, I get to block for another turn. If they don't have any, like, if they don't have any Melt Strider's Resolve or anything like that. I guess even that wouldn't do it. Green Shell. Pretty good. Torpor Orb shuts off that ETP, but they have a Fabled Passage. The Green Shell is offline. Thankfully, I suppose. They decide it's worth giving up 2 of these guys for 3 damage. You might be right. You might be right. I mean, I can't. It would be crazy to pull out a win here. So we Day of Judgment. They activate the nursery. I mean, I sure would love a Tollus Mirror. Generally speaking, it has lifelink. I guess that buys me another turn. Pass it back to ya. Doesn't feel quite right to play the land yet. Continue to hold up blockers. They make another Tree Folk. Earthbender Ascension. That'll do it. Because they'll be able to make another hasty attacker here. With another land drop. And they're at 10. Okay. Alright. GG. Alright. A swift end. Let's move into the next one. Alright. On the draw for match 2, game 1. Looks pretty good. I think. Looks like this is the Boros Dragons list. Let's go ahead and lead on this Evolving Wilds, I think. I would expect this is just a typical landfall list. I don't think most people are looking at the size of my deck, when they queue against me. Go ahead and find a Plains to be able to Seam Rip the Momo and then jam a Llanowar Elves here. Looks like they don't have a Clarion Conqueror. You'd expect they'd just play it on turn 2. Probably a handful of Magmatic Hellkites, which is not particularly good against us, at least currently. We're on a pretty high basic count. Seam Rip the Momo. Play a Llanowar Elves. There's a Sariema, which plays really nicely with the Kona in our hand. We can Earthbender Ascension for another Plains. Bushwhack, okay. So maybe we actually go Bushwhack into a Plains and cast the Sariema. We can find a big dumb legendary and then next turn go for the Kona. I kind of like that, although Bushwhack could come up as a removal piece in the future, so maybe it makes sense to go. Let's go for the Bushwhack here. Grab a Plains. I don't know. We do have some big dumb legendaries, but what's our biggest, dumbest legendary we could grab here? Lyra Dawnbringer, probably pretty good in this matchup. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Lyra Dawnbringer. Seems generically pretty nice, assuming they don't have removal for it. Magmatic Hellkite, no targets. Let's just do the Kona thing here. Gives them something they have to deal with. No attacks. Might as well station the Sariema with Lyra. Because the Sariema can block Lyra and also... Or sorry, the Sariema can block the Hellkite. And also, it's big enough to block their... sorry, it'll give Lyra indestructible through this turn. So they can't reasonably really, do everything they probably want to do here. AKA, kill the Sariema, swing in, and also deal with Lyra. They'd have to have, double get lost in that scenario. Nature's Rhythm, huh? What could we Nature's Rhythm for in this position? Well, we could just cast this Formidable Speaker, find another dumb thing to put into play with Kona. That's probably the best play. We can even discard this Nature's Rhythm in the process and cast this Earthbender's Ascension. We can almost, harmonize with the Kona. I guess we can. We can harmonize for 3 with the Kona. Just grab an Ice Till, maybe? Start sort of filtering through our deck. We could grab a Bright Glass Gear Hulk. If we grab a Bright Glass Gear Hulk, we can grab almost some extra garbage to put into play. Oh, no. Okay, well, I better just pick something. I don't want to make the same mistake as last time. I think my gut says Guardian Sunmare probably pretty good. It's probably pretty good. Let's go ahead, station up this Sariema with Kona, swing in for 5 with Lyra, indestructible. Gain some life. Put the Guardian Sunmare into play. And might as well go for the Earthbender Ascension as well. Doesn't super matter what we choose here. Just grab another Plains. Not the best sequencing in the world, but not really trying to play cutthroat magic here. Just trying to do some silly stuff, and it's kind of working here. I mean, this is pretty much our ideal matchup, I think. They're going to have flyers for a lot of our stuff, but main deck Lyra is going to be a little tough for them. And they're not doing anything particularly busted, you know? They're a fast aggro deck, but we have a lot of big dumb value creatures, which tend to be pretty good. I think we can just block with Sariema here. Seems okay to me. Kill off the Dragonhawk. Opens up the opportunity to get lost Lyra, but I think we're just a little too far ahead by now. Clarion Conqueror turns off the ability to saddle Guardian Sunmare, but I think we're doing okay. We can Shared Roots for another forest to be able to cast this Nature's Rhythm next turn. I think I just swing with the Sunmare here. Maybe I also swing with the Plains. Trigger the Earthbender Ascension again. Guardian Sunmare is a path to victory, but also like hitting them is just good. They go down to 6. So I don't know. Maybe them double blocking would lead to me not necessarily having a great out to win, but Nature's Rhythm, tapping the Kona, grabbing like, I don't know. I guess I could grab like a Cloud. I could probably do better than that. Maybe it's just Bright Glass Gear Hulk. Shiko, Paragon of the Way. For a Get Lost on Kona? Okay. Well, I could Nature's Rhythm for a Bright Glass Gear Hulk and find a way to remove this Shiko. That's probably just the line. Let's do this for 4. Tap this for Formidable Speaker and 2 mana. Or maybe I have to harmonize off the Guardian Sunmare here, because I can't cast anything else at this point because of the Clarion Conqueror. So if I do it off the Guardian Sunmare, I can then clear the Conqueror or just start cracking maps. I think there's a lethal here. Let's Nature's Rhythm for 4. Tapping the Sunmare here. Grab a Bright Glass Gear Hulk. Look into my horrible, horrible library. Oh no. The timer's running. Grab a Hard Light Containment. Grab a... Is there an extra like 1 damage effect here? I could just grab a Lava Spur Boots. I gotta grab something. I gotta grab something. Seam Rip. Maybe not the best option. And then we Hard Light Containment on a map to exile Shiko. No. Yeah, it's just gotta be Shiko, I guess. Oh, but I can't. I guess it's gotta be the Clarion. Oh. I guess it's gotta be the Clarion Conqueror. Oh, it's so close. I was accounting for the map, like activating the map in all of this, but I think I'm just dead to this Shiko. I can Seam Rip the Sarkon. I can't force blocks. I think there was a window to open this, but the timer with the lag from looking into my library has like just gotten me on more than one occasion here. Just not having enough time to really think out the turn. This is for more than one way, kind of an impossible deck to play on Arena. Not that it would be possible to play in paper necessarily, realistically, but I really feel like we can chalk that up to a win. I'm pretty sure there was an angle there for sure. Maybe it was just like, maybe if I had 2 hard light containments in the deck. No. Oh, maybe I had to grab a dragon sniper. I'd like grab the hard light containment, play a dragon sniper also. I don't know. I think it was somewhere in there. Bring in the split ups, bring in the Day of Judgments, bring in a Melt Strider's Resolve. Seems pretty decent here. Let's go down. Cut some stuff. I'll move into the next game for you here. All right, game 2 on the play. Pretty solid opener here. We have split ups and Day of Judgments, and the mana to cast it, along with Bright Glass, Beza. Pretty much the best opener we could ask for here, outside of like a randomly busted like Llanowar Elves, Badgermole Cub start. Crack the Evolving Wilds. Grab our planes here. Oh lord. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Just play the Escape Tunnel here. Make sure we have untapped mana for turn 4. I think I can just grab another planes off of this one. Probably makes the most sense. Clarion Conqueror. I don't think we need double green for a whole lot. And we seem to have a lot of white pips. Although I guess there are some worlds where we draw something that requires double green to play, like a Scouring Sandstorm. So maybe grabbing a forest there makes a little more sense. I'm just going to cast this Basilisk Collar. No need to split up the Sarkhan. Let's bide our time here. Cavern of Souls on Dragon. You know, I also probably should have played the Forest over the Hushwood Verge, but thankfully we're dodging Magmatic Hellkite, it looks like. Play a Forest. I could just go for a Beza here. I don't get the draw off of it, so maybe it makes more sense to go for... It's either Day of Judgment, Earthbender... I mean, a lot of options, right? I could just Day of Judgment this. It's okay. Could Earthbender Ascension on the Hushwood Verge, that making their Magmatic Hellkite a little worse, I think. I kind of like that option. Opens up my options for next turn. Bright Glass is a decent 4-mana play, but it's a lot better as a 5-mana play, being able to like actually cast something that you hit off of it. You can grab a Forest here. No attacks. Probably the worst thing that they could do for me here, or to do to me here now, is like warp a Nova Hellkite. But if they just hard cast a Nova Hellkite, I'm pretty happy. They're looking at my cards. Fair enough. Requisition Raid. That's fine. I think I'm pretty okay with that. We'll just go ahead and Chumperoonie here. Plan to split up these guys now that they're tapped. Makes sense to me. We could also... Bushwhack is kind of an interesting option. We could like Bright Glass Gear Hulk for a Melt Strider's Resolve and fight their Clarion Conqueror. That is actually probably pretty good. It's a little more proactive than just wiping the board here. Probably just grab a land also while we're at it. Go for a Fighter-Rooney. And then this makes my Bright Glass a better fighter with my Bushwhack in the future, too. Layer on white. Pass it back to you. Oh, they get to shock my Bright Glass. That's fine. Still feeling okay. I mean, they're probably going to commit another creature to the board here, if I had to guess. Maybe they just have 2 lands in hand. We can just go like Beza and Bushwhack. Hold on to the board wipes. We're not going to get a whole lot of value off of this, but we're pretty far ahead if we do this, I think. I think they're realizing perhaps this is not an ordinary meta deck. They drew a Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon. That's not bad for them. Or at least it cycles. I'm going to hold on to this land drop, I think. I do have some landfall matter stuff going on. Wouldn't mind drawing an Ice Till Explorer to just start pulling basics out of my deck, maybe mill over an Esper Origins eventually. Dragonhawk, Fate's Tempest. Exiles an Inspiring Vantage. Sariema, actually a pretty nice draw here because it lets me split up this Dragonhawk and keep my Beza alive. And obviously find something kind of powerful to put into play here. Yeah, I think I'm just going to grab a Lyra again. Individually, it's just probably the best thing we can be doing against this deck. Tap the Beza. Split up the Dragonhawk. I'll play a land here in case we want to go, like, draw another land and then split up Lyra next turn. Bristly Bill. Play... Play a Lyra. Turn on the Sariema. Swing in. Probably not too many worlds where they kill me next turn. It's like double Nova Hellkite Warp plus Lightning Strike or Lightning Helix or whatever. But yeah, they don't have the mana for that. All right, GG. Game 3. Pretty good showing there. Board wipes came in clutch. Moving into the game 3 here. On the draw. Probably can't keep this. A little too expensive. This is fine. At the very least, it has our colors and some interaction. Let's just skip on the Phoenix down, I suppose. It's not the best hand. Maybe if we draw a board wipe, it gets a lot better. Herd Heirloom. Okay. I like the Herd Heirloom plan. Voice of Victory, fine. Let's go for the Herd Heirloom. Maybe hope that we just draw an untapped source next turn and jam this Gear Hulk. Otherwise, we get to just go Yara and Oski and play a Lush Portico tapped. Not the worst. I mean, Yara and Oski's not great in this matchup. Their creature density is pretty high, but I might be able to snag something relevant. There's a Seam Rip, though. Suppose we're doing this anyway. Earthbender Ascension. I think we can skip on that here. Uranowski's probably not that great. I could just Seam Rip the Momo, keep him off of a 5-drop dragon next turn. I kind of like that. Perhaps the best. Burst Lightning my face. Tapped Inspiring Vantage. Hit me for 3. Okay, feeling pretty good. Go for this Bright Glass Gear Hulk. Surak. Well, go for the Bright Glass Gear Hulk. I think we have to continue to hit our land drops best we can. So let's grab a Hard Light Containment and Valgavoth's Lair. Play this on white. We're starting to put a pretty threatening board out here. Looks like they don't have an immediate answer for the Gear Hulk, which is pretty big for us. Looks like they don't have anything? What is in your hand, my friend? I would like to know. Maybe I'll just play this Yara and Oski. Get some info. See what you got going on. I'm gonna guess it's like all lands. Burst Lightning on the Gear Hulk. That's fine. It's not a huge deal. There's the Dragonhawk, Fate's Tempest. Let's name sorcery here. I'd rather not name instant, I think, because I have this get lost in hand. And this could hit like their... Does this list play Twin Maw Stormbrood? I would think so. Get the Surak on the field. This gives us a nice target for our herd heirloom attacks in the future, and then if they decide to tap out for the Dragonhawk, we have a pretty clean answer still with this hard light containment. Nova Hellkite. Inspiring Vantage. With the Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon in hand, we're feeling pretty good, especially with a Sheltered by Ghosts draw here. That's pretty huge. Let's just go ahead. Hard light containment, the Dragonhawk. Probably a little harder for them to deal with this lock. And then Sheltered by Ghosts. I might as well just put it on the Yera and Oski, I think. Gives us another 4-power target for our herd heirloom. And then it kind of forces them to like deal with the Yera and Oski first. Which then gives us extra card draw off of the Surak. I feel pretty good about this. I mean, they'd have to draw like a split up, I think, to fight their way out of this. So with that consideration, I guess we could have played the Saz's Chocobo if what they have is split up, but pretty okay with just holding back here, I think. Continue to swing in. It's looking good. Go for one of these. Draw a card. Get a bunch of life. Loot Exuberant Explorer. Additional land on each of your turns. 6 mana for card advantage. That's not bad. Let's just go for the Seriema here. Tapped creatures I control have indestructible. Beat split up. Oh, I guess I have to fully station the Seriema for that to be the case. Good to know. Well, if I grab a Scouring Storm Soul, that's 6 power onto the Seriema. That's not quite enough. That's close, though. Maybe it's just like an Ademi. Just threaten this Ademi from downtown. I mean, their only out is a board wipe here, right? And now they can't do that. Feels pretty good. 1 of Ademi. Beats your board wipe out. All right, 1-1 overall, I think. Kind of feels like there's nothing they can do here. Simply too high of a life total. Clarion Conqueror. They could go like Clarion Conqueror, split up. So maybe in response to this Clarion Conqueror, I just flash in the Ademi, give my stuff hexproof indestructible. $200-card toolbox. 1-1. We never thought we'd get here. I'm gonna keep it to one more match here. It's a beautiful deck. I mean, it's a beautiful creation. I love it. I love it with all my heart. But I'm excited to play some of my other standard brews. Get back into the slightly more serious groove here. So we'll play one more match after this. I just get lost the Dragonhawk and beat you down. GG. Fun one. 1-1. Ideal matchup for us. Hop into the next one. Sweet, sweet victory. 200-card green-white toolbox. All right, hopping into match number 3 here. For all the marbles on the play, see if we can pull out a 2-1. This hand's really close. I think it's pretty good if we draw a 3rd land, so I'm going to keep it. Just being able to guarantee that we have this Earthbender Ascension on 3 into a Bright Glass Gear Hulk. Could be good enough. Pop this Evolving Wilds. Got the cough drops in, so hopefully I can keep the annoyance there to a minimum. So sorry if you hear some rattling around. I think we'll just grab a forest here. Make them think we are green-white landfall, and we kind of are a little bit. Turn 2 Cub on the forest. Pretty good draw. Sets up this Earthbender Ascension pretty well. Looks like they have some kind of answer for it. Hex on the Cub. Okay. Not the end of the world, although we still need to hit our 3rd land drop. At least we have a target for this Shelter by Ghosts. Herd Heirloom. That's kind of a 3rd land drop. At the very least, it lets us play this Formidable Speaker into like an elf or something. Maybe we can grab a Dryad Arbor. Jokes. Would be nice, though. Do you think Dryad Arbor would be fine in Standard? I think it could be, right? It would make Nature's Rhythm a lot better. It would make Nature's Rhythm a lot better. Eleni, I guess I could technically just cast this. That's probably worth doing. Pick up the forest here and just replay the forest. I don't have any other land drops anyway. Makes my Formidable Speaker cast a little better. And they do kind of have to deal with this. I would imagine they can. A grip full of cards. Presumably some kind of 4 or 5 color elementals list. Roaming Throne. Pretty good. Lava Spur Boots. Not the best draw here. Could just like Shelter by Ghosts on the Eleni. Give it Ward 2. Lifelink. I won't be able to exile the Roaming Throne, but I can start swinging in. That's probably okay. It also gives me a target for the Herd Heirloom to be able to potentially draw cards. And hit a land drop. Go with that. See what we hit. Well, there's a land. That's pretty good. Just play this Lava Spur Boots. Pass it to you. I don't think we're that likely to win this one. They seem to be pretty far ahead. With a Roaming Throne on the field, they could just Thunderflock me here and set me back quite a lot. Wistfulness. Also quite nice. Can kill off the Shelter by Ghost, can kill off the Herd Heirloom here. All pretty good. Oh, they decided to go for the Lava Spur Boots. Okay. I don't think that's the end of the world. Maybe we pack this one up. Hard to imagine a world where I win this one. They're looking at a lot of cards. I guess if I go like Earthbender Ascension, draw a Mightform Harmonizer, and a fetch in my next 2 draws, I can get a Harmonizer with the Formidable Speaker. Let's do this. Earthbend this forest. Get a Plains on the field. And they can't easily interact with this Eleni outside of having a Sunderflock here. Sunderflock probably does win them the game. Because they can, like, they can just kind of do the time walk thing. There's the Sunderflock. Well, I'll go ahead and scoop to this. Bounces all my stuff. They get to swing in for a free 10, and then really hard to rebuild against them here. What do we want? Meltstrider's Resolve can be okay. Split Up can be kind of okay. At the very least, Split Up is a pretty clean answer to the Roaming Throne. I might as well bring in the Day of Judgments as well. It is, at the end of the day, a creature deck, right? And then I'll make cuts and jump into game 2 here. All right, game 2 on the play. Ooh, it's a good hand. It's a good hand confirmed. Lead on the Lush Portico. Yeah, we'll take a Split Up. That kind of rounds things out here pretty nicely. A good mix of proactive effects and defensive effects. Holding up a Spell Snare, well, not super relevant here. Let's just go for the Phenomena Recorder play, and then we can crack this Fabled Passage next turn. You know, I guess I could have played the Insidious Fungus too. That was a bit of a mistake. Might as well have played them both, right? If I was just going to end up on the Demolition Field anyway. Probably won't matter too much, but small optimization error, small sequencing error. I can still go like main phase, crack the Fabled Passage, do the thing, and then play the Insidious Fungus with an untapped forest here. And Demolition Field could be pretty clutch against them, actually. They're going to untap with an Ashling, which accelerates their mana a little bit. Grab a plains first. Grab a forest. It accelerates their mana a little bit, but we do have this Bright Glass Gear Hulk eventually to be able to manage it, split up as well, and actually just like hitting their lands with Demolition Field twice. If we hit another untapped land, will hurt them quite a bit, I think. Cavern of Souls, because they rely on these like 5-color sources pretty heavily. If they don't swing, they kind of goofed. Escape Tunnel. They don't swing, so they kind of goofed. I mean, I might as well split up here. I guess I can swing. It doesn't super matter. My boy's gonna die no matter what. There's not a world in which they don't see this coming as like a board wipe. Would be nice to be able to take advantage of that, but not the end of the world. Let's play the Escape Tunnel. Let's hold on to it. I think it's probably better to continue to get the lands out of our deck. Although, if we fetch here, it lets us do the double Demolition Field next turn, which is probably worth it. I don't know how many basics this deck plays, but I would guess it's not a whole lot. It might be even better to take them off of a Watery Grave. Keep them from casting, like, the spell snares and requiting hexes that they have. Killing off the Phenomena Recorder. 1 for 1. Okay. Interesting. Flame Braider. That's pretty good. Go ahead and grab another white source here. Wouldn't mind drawing an untapped land to be able to, like, play this Gear Hulk and Seam Rip the Flame Braider, but Earthbender Ascension on Demolition Field also looks pretty good. Yeah, I think it's probably better to go like Earthbender Ascension, Demolition Field, and then cast the Shared Roots. It opens up mana for our Bright Glass plays quite nicely next turn, and then we can still kind of do a double Demolition Field thing here in the future. And we have the split up in hand. Start getting the Ascension online. Everything is chugging. Anytime I go to search my deck, it absolutely chugs. And that's okay. That's all right. For the love of the game, for the love of the video. Bright Glass, my sweet. You've come to me. Out of 200 cards, it's you who stepped up. Vibrance. With both triggers. Killing off the Demolition Field. Makes sense. Grabbing a Restless Reef. Okay. Retrigger the Earthbender Ascension here. Well, we have a Bright Glass next turn, and we can find something. They may have brought... They probably didn't bring in a Knowles, but I feel like they're holding on to just like a Spell Snare here. Hi, Maple. Cast the Gear Hulk. Probably just makes sense to grab a Seam Rip for the Flame Braider at the very least, and then go from there. Phoenix down. It's pretty good. We don't have a whole lot to grab. Seam Rip, and then maybe like a Zac Fair to give my Bright Glass indestructible. That's not bad. Melt Strider's Resolve is probably better. Just fight the Vibrance here. Keep them off of like big elementals on the field to slow down their Sunderflock ability. Yeah, Bright Glass is just so much better when you have a full 6 mana to capitalize off of it, you know? Pass it back to you. Big ol' 4/6 Bright Glass. I mean, they have Wistfulnesses in their deck, so they can answer this kind of easily, but they only have so many. Roaming Throne. Pretty good. Escape Tunnel's not a bad draw here. Well, I think we want the Surak on the field. And we almost certainly want to Demolition Field them. Let's take them off of the Restless Reef. See if they're on any basics. I would imagine they have at least one. But they still can go for a Sunderflock next turn. If they don't, they do have at least one. Might as well just start buffing up the Bright Glass Gear Hulk. I guess I don't super mind if they decide to Sunderflock here. I'm gonna hold on to this Escape Tunnel. Because they'll have to bounce my Bright Glass back to my hand, which is kind of nice. And I think holding on to this for future turns where, like, I can make nice use of the Earthbender Ascension to be annoying in combat is probably a little more important than jamming an extra 2 damage here. Their creatures are pretty big after all, you know. Being able to, like, buff my Surak big enough to get through is kind of nice. Okay, well, them killing off the Surak, I did not think about that angle, but not the end of the world here. Oh, they can't do double red and double green. That's kind of nice. They chose to go double green. Grab some lands. Okay. Well, let's go for the Escape Tunnel here. Maybe I can keep them from blocking the Surak. And split up both of their guys. Yeah, it looks like we did just that. Not going to fetch here. Keeps them from doing a Sunderflock here, which is pretty nice. Might be able to steal a game win off of this Elementals list. We don't really need to show them that we have an Elf as the last card. I don't know. Probably doesn't super matter. Their best play here probably is like a Wistfulness. A Deceit's also pretty good, but Wistfulness being able to like just handle the Bright Glass Gear Hulk. I get a redraw, but Deceit would be fine too. I guess Deceit and Wistfulness are functionally pretty similar here. Ideally, they just have a handful of Sunderflocks, you know? And we've managed to keep them off of that as an option. Fun list. There's the Deceit. I would imagine they're bouncing the Bright Glass Gear Hulk here, but I could also see a window, see Surak as a possibility. Draw another forest. Makes me discard a Bright Glass Gear Hulk. Back to me. The Scouring Storm Soul. Well, kind of a huge draw for us, actually, being an elemental and whatnot. Just show them we have it. It's pretty dang good. Can't be blocked or bounced by Sunderflock. Swinging for 6. Play a Llanowar Elves here. Pass it back to you. Yeah, Scouring Storm Soul. Pretty nice top deck in this matchup here. One of fun of. Looks like we have perhaps an opportunity to move into game 3. If we can dodge another Deceit, that'd be pretty good, although even Deceit wouldn't really be enough here. Maybe like Deceit into make me discard the Storm Soul would kind of be an argument to leave up the extra mana to be able to like immediately get it out of my graveyard on their turn, but managed to pull out the win. Phenomenon Recorder looked kind of good in that situation. I think I'll bring another one in at the very least. Maybe go down a land on the draw. I don't know how much that'll matter with 66 lands now in our deck. Moving to game 3 here. All right, final game for all the marbles. Looks like a pretty good keep. We have Analyze the Pollen and Expedition Map to access more land drops. Our trusty Gear Hulk in hand somehow keeps ending up in my hand in a 200 card deck, but we will take it. Lead on a Restless Prairie here, I suppose. Authority could be kind of relevant. Could gain a decent chunk of life over the course of the game. Flame Braider, turn 2, classic. Yeah, that's a little tough. Well, we definitely have to analyze the pollen at the very least over the course of some of these turns, so might as well do it now. Day of Judgment in hand is carrying a lot of weight here. Grab a plains. Just go for the authority here, I suppose. Maximize how much life it can gain for us. Do a little pillow fording. Next turn, Earthbender Ascension, and then plan to probably end up having to wipe the board next turn. Gain a life. They don't really have like haste going on, so it's not super important as far as shutting any of that down, but I decided to keep it in, A, because I brought it in the split ups, and B, you know, against these creature decks, a lot of the time, just blocking is an important element of their defense, just having big, dumb blockers. And shutting that down as an option, I think is often at least worth keeping this in as a one of, right? Go for the Earthbender Ascension. Grab another plains here. Chugging along. Pass it back to you. Off to a pretty decent start for us here. Looks like they're stuck on lands. Is that right? Seems to be right. It's not going to matter a whole lot with their double accelerant going on here, but I do have a Bright Glass. I also have a Day of Judgment. So if they just like tap out for, I don't know, what, like if this is just like Vibrance, yeah, and they get to deal 2 to something, but they didn't go for double green? Did they kind of goof here? They definitely should have found a land, right? Oh, no, they're also doing that. Okay. For some reason, the land tutor effect was not showing up on the stack. Okay, this makes sense, but I still think wiping the board is pretty good here. Assuming this is their only other land, right? It really, really slows them down. Ooh, Guardian Sunmare. Might as well put another green source on the field. Let's go for a Day of Judgment and probably just play this Zach Fair. Gives us a target for our Earthbender Ascension hits. And actually, like, has some relevant text as far as, like, putting counters on it goes. You can pay 1 to sacrifice it to move its counters and give Indestructible to another creature you control. And equipments, which we do have some equipments with our Cloud Toolbox, but let's see how relevant that is. Wipe the board, pretty good there, though. Sets them back quite a bit. Tapped Starting Town. Feels like we could pull this one out. Another decent matchup for us, perhaps. Just big, dumb, fair stuff. I think we kind of hammer things home here with a Guardian Sunmare. If they don't have a response to this immediately, with the Ward 2 and them being choked on mana, it's going to be pretty hard for them to deal with this, I think. They'll need to take another setup turn to get an elemental on the field. Won't be able to Sunderflock it next turn, you know. I guess they could, like, evoke a Deceit, but if they're evoking Deceit and paying the Ward on turn, what is this? It's like their turn 5 just to bounce my Guardian Sunmare. I don't think they're too thrilled about that. Disdainful Stroke, great answer. Pass it back to you. Roaming Throne. Okay. Tapped. Get Lost, pretty nice draw for us here. I think I'm just going to jam that. There's not really a scenario where I get to get cute here, I think. I could, like, Expedition Map for a fetch, but that only grows the Zach Fair to a 3/4. So I think I'm just going to get lost here. Pay the Ward. I think I like maybe just getting the Expedition Map on the field. And saving the Bushwhack as a removal piece for next turn. Swing it for 1. Not putting a whole lot of pressure on them, but managing their elementals pretty nicely. Keeping them off of Sunderflock. They pass it back. Day of Judgment. Well, I suppose we just go for a bright glass gear hulk here unless they have another disdainful stroke. Maybe it's just better to like go for the expedition map, find my fabled passage, buff up the Zac Fair, and then play the bright glass. Yeah, that's probably the best line. I mean, I can't really do anything about them having disdainful stroke, you know what I mean? I could demolition field them. They already have a swamp on the field. I wonder how effective this will be. I actually like this maybe over the other idea. Let's go for this. It could be pretty annoying for them. Probably makes sense to just hit the Cavern of Souls. I don't really think they have like activated abilities of elementals. I'm just wondering if this is Stone Rain at this point. It seems like it'd be pretty tough for them to justify a ton of basics, although I could see them having like a basic mountain maybe in the list as well. Stone Rain confirmed. Well, that's awesome for us. And they have a Shoot the Sheriff for Zac Fair. Okay. Fair enough. Well, maybe that means we bushwhack here. Set up our next turn kind of nicely. I have this Day of Judgment. I have a Gear Hulk in hand. I think basic is not bad here. Just grab another Plains, pass it back to you. Sets up a pretty nice Gear Hulk turn next turn, where we can like play the Gear Hulk, play the land, Melt Strider's Resolve. Well, Formidable Speaker's pretty nice too. Let's just go for the Gear Hulk. I think I'm going to go Lava Spur Boots this turn. Plays nicely through Sunderflock as an answer to what we're doing. And then on top of that, maybe just a Phenomena Recorder. Or maybe a Melt Striders for the future. How about just like a Gold Vein Hydra? Or a Phoenix Down. Phoenix Down is probably best. If they do manage to deal with my Gear Hulk, I can just resurrect it. Go for a Lava Spur Boots. Move to equip it. Might as well play the land. Even though I have this formidable speaker, I think this is okay. Boost the clock a little bit. Play the Phoenix Down. Swing in for 6. Pass it back to you. And they kind of have to find an answer here. Otherwise, they may bear the shame of losing to 200 card, green-white toolbox, strategic betrayal. I mean, it's a pretty good answer. It's not perfect. Formidable speaker. Discard this Valgavoth's Lair. We have our pick of fun cards here, but I think out of respect for the homie, it's got to be Bright Glass Gear Hulk. Out of respect. It's the respectful option, right? Play the Bright Glass Gear Hulk. I think we're going Gold Vein Hydra and maybe like Hero of Fable or Figure of Fable. Just the best like late game. Got a lot of lands on the field options for us here. Works really nicely. I mean, the Figure of Fable works pretty nicely with the Lava Spur Boots. Kind of hard to imagine a scenario where they can pull this one out and they scoop it up. Okay, great run. Fun deck. 2-1 overall with dumb 200 card green-white toolbox. And once again, if you like this video, you know, I'm open to the idea of doing a 300 card special, but once again, I want to know that the people want it, so I'll say 20 likes on the video, and I'll boot it up on MTGO once we get to 300 subscribers, which you know, thanks to you for subscribing. Hopefully, maybe tell your friends, get people on board. If you like this content and you think your friends might too, and you want to see 300 card green white toolbox, or you know, don't like this video, don't dislike the video. But if you don't want to see it, and I'm fine either way. I love it, but at the same time, if people just want more competitively minded, like real deck list content, that's totally fine too. Appreciate you watching. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.